Hello, everyone. Today we're speaking with Dr. Foster Malmed, and Dr. Foster has been a chiropractor and an applied kinesiologist for the past 35 years. His goal for each of his patients is to assess the three foundations of health as he sees it: the feet, the pelvis, and cellular function. For the past 10 years, Dr. Malmed has been involved with ASEA. The Huffington Post has called ASEA one of the top 5 emerging scientific technologies that will improve one's future. Foster is a subject matter expert in the field of redox signaling as it applies to improving health, wellness, aging, athletic performance, and overall appearance through cellular communication that is lost typically through aging, illness, and stressors. So hi, Foster, how are you today?
I'm awesome, Doreen. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome, and thank you for joining. Can you tell us a bit about your background and how your background brought you to the study of cellular communication?
Absolutely. So I'm a chiropractor by nature and by profession. And my dream was always to become the chiropractor in a hospital. And that took 27 years. So back in 2010, I was asked to join Putnam Hospital Center in Carmel, New York. And so I was the first, and I was the only, and that was awesome. And I was, a friend from California said, I have this product I want you to look at. I don't understand it, but it seems like it's going to be really important. And please look at it and please buy it. So he's a good friend. I trusted him. I looked at it and he told me that it was an athletic product. And my wife is a personal trainer and I was a top level athlete for a long time. So we got the product to try to help both of us. And what he didn't know was that my wife had been struggling for many years with a health issue. And nothing got her better no matter what she did, no matter how many doctors we went to. I was the doctor in the hospital. I had all sorts of connections and nobody could help her. So she goes on this athletic product and in 3 days, my wife gets her life back. And I wasn't expecting that. And so I didn't think it had anything to do with this product yet. And so after many more days, as she was feeling better and better, and then I noticed I was getting younger by the day and my mental clarity was coming back and my GI system felt awesome and my seasonal allergies, it was this time of year, were doing awesome. It started to catch my interest and then I started to do research. And as I researched what this new biochemistry, biotechnology was, I realized it was going to change the world and it was certainly going to change my hospital experience. So that's how I ended up meeting this product. That was 10 years ago. And now I've been on their medical board. This is my 6th year. So my job is typically teaching doctors and scientists in 32 countries. And when I get asked to come on some awesome meeting with people like Doreen, I am happy to get out here and start sharing with people.
Well, when we met on another business call unrelated to ASEA, and I heard you talk about inflammation and the immune system, it really piqued my interest because years ago in Time magazine, I remember reading, the root of all illness is inflammation.
Right.
And that really snapped my brain around because I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that inflammation would be what made people ill. It just never occurred to me. So that's always piqued my interest. And when you said that, I thought, oh my gosh, I have to talk to him more about this product and about inflammation and immunity, and especially now with COVID-19. So and it interested me that the Huffington Post called it, ASEA, one of the top 5 scientific technologies to improve one's future. So it sounds to me like the root of that comes from cellular communication, the root of ASEA's success in helping people. Is
Exactly.
that correct?
That is exactly correct. So let's say you're in the IT world. Okay, so it's all about information technology. And when you're helping somebody to place somebody who's going to help them with their information technology, that person's job is not to just go work on a laptop that's not connected to anything and they just are an island. Their job is getting information out to wherever it has to go so things can happen the way a corporation wants them to happen. That's what this product does. So you, Doreen, are 100 trillion cells, give or take 10 trillion. So those cells are responsible for everything that happens in your body. You're alive because of your cells. You will perish because of your cells. And so it's all about how cells communicate inside of themselves and between themselves, or nothing happens. So this product is exactly what every one of your cells manufactures so that cells can communicate. These are cell signaling molecules. So nothing happens in the human body without them. And now we had an atomic medical physicist with a background in nanotechnology who was able to put this project together in a stable form. So now we can drink what it is that our cells need to signal better. So if you have a cell phone, and you probably do, if it has no bars, you can't do anything. You can't communicate with the world. You can't tell, an analogy that we use is if I get a fire in my fireplace and it starts to grow and get out of control, as long as I have bars on my cell phone, I can call the fire department and they can come and they can detect where the problem is. They can protect my home. They can repair the issue and they can save the day. But if I have no bars and no cellular communication, then I can't get to the fire department, and maybe my house burns down, and maybe the future of everyone in my home gets changed forever. That's what this product does. It helps to put the bars on the cell phones of our cells so that our cells can now protect themselves better, detect problems, repair problems that need to be repaired. And then if a cell needs to be gotten rid of because it can't be repaired, the body does that also. It gets rid of that cell that can't be repaired, and then it's supposed to replace it with a new, young, healthy cell.
So I appreciate that. That was a great sort of way for me to understand the communication between and amongst the cells. I didn't know I was 100 trillion cells. That's fascinating. That's amazingly fascinating. And those must change, die off, and get and reborn every day, I would imagine.
Every millisecond, they're changing. So different body parts have they're on different calendars, they're on different schedules.
And I've heard it said many times that every 7 years your cells completely renew. Is that accurate?
That's pretty accurate, right? But some parts are in days. So the skin cells on your face, on a baby, those change about every 28 days. As we get older and our cell turnover takes longer and longer because the cell signaling is less efficient, it takes longer and longer. So I'm in my 60s. So before ASEA, maybe it took 80 days or 100 days for the cells to turn over in my face. And that's why I started looking older and older and older. And it's just different for every body part. Bones take longer. But yeah, after about every 7 years, you are new.
So so how does ASEA work? I know it helps your cells communicate. I get that. But what is it?
So it is a blend of molecules that are exactly what your cells make. So we call them redox signaling molecules. Redox is a short contraction for reduction and oxidation. So everybody who's hearing this has probably heard of antioxidants. Mm-hmm. So why do we take antioxidants? It would make sense that we don't like oxidation, so we want to have something that's anti-oxidation. So oxidation, if it happens to your car, that's rust. And as that oxidation continues, if you don't fix it by repairing it or painting it over, you're going to lose your car. So as a human, if we oxidize too much, we're going to rust, and we're going to age, and we're going to get sick, and our genetics are going to change. So one of the things that ASEA does is it activates your antioxidants. So it's not an antioxidant, but when you drink it, your antioxidants work much better. Some of them up to 8 times better than they normally would. So ASEA does so many things, but it's already designed by the body, whoever designed the body. So we're just replenishing what it is that we can't make as much of as we age, or as we have genetic issues, or as we have illness or epigenetic issues from exposures and toxins and stressors. And so ASEA replenishes that with no side effects because it's bioidentical to exactly what your body makes.
Okay. And when I was reading the literature, it talks quite a bit about cell signaling. Is that when your cells are communicating amongst and between themselves? What is cell signaling?
So cell signaling, it's how things get done. So it's really just sort of, we know that we're, lots of salt water. So you have this sodium and chloride and hydrogen and oxygen, which is salt water. And there's a lot of pluses and minuses going on in this biochemistry, in this soup that we actually are. So it's adding these molecules that have either electrons, and I don't want to get too crazy, electrons to give or electrons to receive. And that's how biochemistry works. And so that's how, if you want to move your arm, lots of things have to happen from the brain, through the nerves, through the muscles. That's all signaling that makes that take place. If you want to stay healthy, if you want to not get ill, then you must do things to improve your messaging, decrease your oxidation, and lots of other things that we can talk about that help to make you so that you can have hopefully a better future.
Okay, so then in taking ASEA, you reduce oxidation, I hear you saying, you increase cell signaling and cellular communication, which is part of the signaling, right? And overall, I guess that would improve everything in your system.
Okay, so that's exactly right. And so because this is so new, and we're from New York and Connecticut, where most people are a little skeptical when you're talking to them about some sort of salt water-based miraculous product. So that's true. So we have to use a lot of science. So the company has about $25 million in scientific studies. So we had to prove, why does somebody say my seasonal issues are better? Why does somebody say my tummy is better? Why does somebody say my energy is better, or my brain function, or I sleep better, or I'm faster? We have this array of hundreds and hundreds of things that people say that they feel better. It's because everything is based on the cellular communication. So we have to do studies and prove that. So we did genetic studies. So we know genetics, that's our blueprint. So you have genetically, I'm going to assume you have red hair, you're 5 foot whatever, your bone structure is whatever. And so you have this genetic blueprint. And unbeknownst to most people, only about 5% of your genetics are not changeable. The other 95% are changeable. Mm. So if you're perfectly healthy, but I sit you at the back of a bus and just make you breathe bus fumes for a couple of days and eat nothing but sugar and alcohol and smoke cigarettes, I'm going to change your genetics and I'm going to make your future worse because you're now being filled with toxins and things that change your cells, make them mutate, and now you're going to be different. So we did a great study and we showed 100% of the people who drank this product as compared to placebo or the control group that drank nothing, they all had massive improvements in their genetics towards immunity, inflammation, GI health, hormone balance. And when you see those things, those are the things that decline as we get older. And now when you drink this product, we can actually improve them in very significant ways and with no side effects, no matter how old or young you are or what medications or supplements you take.
That's very interesting. How much of the body is salt water?
I think it's about 70%.
Okay, and ASEA is essentially salt water, correct?
It's how we start, right? So we start just like your mitochondria, just like the mitochondria in your cells do. They take salt water, sodium and chloride and hydrogen and oxygen. And then in the body, in milliseconds, this blend of molecules comes out that just go and do their job, and then they turn back into salt water. With our company, it takes us 3 days to take salt and water and then break the bonds and make them sodium and chloride and hydrogen and oxygen. And then we rework these molecules, and what comes out 3 days later is perfectly stable redox signaling molecules, exactly what your cells make, except ours are now more stable. So they'll stay stable. I'm drinking my pouch. They'll stay stable now for up to 18 months in a bottle, in a pouch. But as soon as they hit your mouth, they have gone to work, and within seconds, they have done their job. And they go through the whole body, through the water channels of the body. It's a very fancy process, but your body knows exactly what to do with them. They're bioidentical.
And in regards to what we were talking about a little bit earlier about inflammation and immunity, how does that work in relation to ASEA?
So we had stories for 7 or 8 years of people who were reporting that. So I used to have to take antibiotics many times a year. My immune system was terrible. I have terrible genetics. After going on this product within a year or so, I don't need them anymore. My immune system has improved so well. And for me, that was just anecdotal. It just happened. Then we did a genetic study, and we saw that every person who drank this product within 8 weeks had a 20 to 31 improvement, 20 to 31% improvement in their genetic expression pathway of the immune system and of the inflammation response and hormone balance and GI and gut health. And when we see, so that's the connection to you drink this product and your genetics for your inflammation levels and your genetics for your immune response are going to improve on average 20 to 31% in 8 weeks. And when you talk about these times, and we see the people who are suffering more when they catch this bug that's running around, and we see the people who have poor immunity, we're worried about them, or people with very high inflammation levels. So in Time magazine years ago, you read the holy grail of illness. So when you look at, it doesn't matter what the illness is, whether it's cancer or diabetes or heart disease, whatever it is, it's starting with inflammation, or it's going along with inflammation. All of those people have inflammation going on in their cells that is going either unchecked or underchecked, and they're going to have less of a good future than somebody who can have a much lower inflammation level genetically. Did that make sense?
Yes, but I have a couple of questions. One, what causes inflammation? And two, why is inflammation bad?
Okay, this is what I get to teach every day. Okay, so what causes oxidation? So we talked about genetics. So my genetics are terrible. My dad died very, very young. So genetically, my inflammation levels were bad. I have organs that were bad. Inflammation typically happens as a response to oxidation. Okay, so how does oxidation, so this human rusting, how does that happen? Maybe genetics, maybe epigenetics. Chances are people who live in New York City have higher levels of oxidation and cellular damage than somebody who lives up here in Patterson or where you live in Connecticut in the country, because we don't have bus fumes. We don't have all of those things that are in the air that are free radicals that come in and rip electrons off things, and they mutate things and they oxidize them. So as these toxins, exposures, bad food choices, alcohol, things that we smoke, things that we drink, some thermal stress, physical stress, whatever it is, all stressors can cause free radical damage, which causes this oxidation, which is human rusting, and that becomes inflammation. And then that's a cascade that continues, and it goes from oxidation to inflammation to degeneration, and then that degeneration becomes something that your doctor calls a something, and then you need a surgery, or you have no hope, or you need a medication, or you need supplementation, or you need a chiropractor, whatever you need. But it's from free radicals, toxins, exposures, stressors, inflammation, degeneration, named medical condition, and then you need to treat it.
So free radicals are stressors, whether they're toxins, whether they're bad food. I mean, is that what exactly is a free radical? I know the term, I've heard it forever, but what is it really?
So free radical is just a molecule that isn't normal. So think of a bus fume. Think of sugar, a refined sugar. Think of alcohol. Think of tobacco. So those things look at tobacco has so many things that are free radicals. There's a free radical, we know they kill us. One puff of a cigarette has 1 trillion free radicals in it. And those are the things that kill us. One puff of a cigarette. So how do you fight that? So why does a smoker always look older after doing that for 20 years than somebody who's not a smoker? Because those free radicals have attached, they've ripped electrons off of normal cells, caused the oxidative process, and now oxidation causes oxidative stress, and that's what causes inflammation, and then bad things happen.
Very, very interesting. So when someone gets on ASEA, they drink it, or does it come in capsule, pill form?
It's a drink. It's also a topical form.
So you can put it on your skin? Does it do different things if you put it on your skin or if you drink it?
It's the same. So when we first started drinking the product, we didn't have a topical gel for many years until 2014. We started this in 2009. So when you drink it, we call that health from the inside out. But then when you put the gel on your skin, within 28 days, we see on average 20% improvement in fine lines, wrinkles, smoothness, texture, 11% improvement in hydration by just putting these molecules on your face. You put it on, let's say your shoulder hurts. I'm a chiropractor. Let's say you put it on your shoulder that hurts. Within 15 minutes, you have almost a 50% improvement in the circulation of that shoulder. We measured all of that. So if you want something to heal or look better, you want better circulation so that you can get more oxygen, more nutrients, take away metabolic wastes and junk. And that's one of the answers to health. So you put the gel on the outside, and now you have health from the outside in. And when you drink it, you can have health from the inside out.
Okay, excellent. And does it, like, in terms of inflammation and immunity health, immune system health, and COVID-19, what do you think, what's your experience with that in ASEA during this time in particular?
Okay, so it's a great question. So because, ASEA was supposed to be a drug, and they chose Bar Labs in New Jersey wanted this product to be a drug. And the owners of the technology chose not to go the drug route and instead go this direct sales route so that you could have it and I could have it, and I don't need somebody to prescribe it.
What would they have prescribed it for? Sorry to interrupt, but if it were a drug, what would it have been prescribed for?
Okay, so if everything in the human body that goes wrong is a cellular issue, you answer the question, Doreen, what would they have prescribed it for?
Everything.
Or
a cellular issue.
Or nothing. Right, so it depends on how paranoid we are about the AMA, the FDA, the pharmaceutical industry, and I don't want to get political, but when you see, where it is this might have gone, would they have shelved it? Because it would have then competed with all the other things out there.
Everything.
We don't know. Maybe it comes out just, for hangnails. No idea.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, so the question was COVID. So because this is not an FDA product, this is an FTC product, I can't make medical claims. So I can't tell you if you have COVID-19, this is what it is that's going to happen to you when you drink this product.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you that I drink a lot of this stuff because I want my immune system functioning at its peak. I want my inflammation levels as low as possible. I want my gut as perfect as possible. I want my hormones balanced. I want all of those things functioning at their peak because illness is the opposite of wellness. So what can we do to stay well? ASEA is my mainstay supplement for keeping me as well as I possibly can be for as long as I can. So in this time, notice how we put quotes around that, in this time, I can't talk about a virus, but I can talk about, I want everybody to have a better immune system, better inflammation response. I want them drinking this product so that they can worry less about the things that might attack them and make their life worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for that. That was a great explanation.
Thank you.
So my last question for you, because we're going to be running out of time, is overall, but especially in this time, where do you derive your inspiration from?
Okay, so you said I should think about that question. I said the answer is easy. Okay, so I got my wife back, and my children got their mom back. Okay, so we had lost her there for a number of years. She was in very bad shape, and all it took was this, and whether it activated her antioxidants, whatever it was that it did, we just improved the cellular signaling, and I got my wife back. Then I shared it in the hospital. I brought it into the hospital, a non-FDA product, and it started to thrive through the hospital as some of the doctors saw what was going on and how their patients were improving. And then when I had a patient with a really, really grave issue, and we knew he wasn't going to be around much longer, and he started drinking this product, and that was 9.5 years ago, and I just bumped into him in the gas station last month, and he's doing great. And so when you see things like that, things that I have now the power to change by being a conduit just for a product, I feel that that's a moral imperative. And so I must speak to people about this, because if I don't tell them, maybe they never know. And maybe people who I never met are going to suffer because I didn't open my mouth. And so that's where I get my inspiration. I now get to change lives on many continents in many countries. And it's a joy, and I get to do it with my wife.
That's great. And if somebody is listening, myself included, and wants to start to drink this product, how do they go about that?
Well, you have my cell phone number.
Mm-hmm. And I will be calling it.
And I'm happy to help. You can just reach out to me at my email, which is drmalmed@gmail. So it's just DRMALMED. It's right up there at gmail.com. And I'm happy to help you. And my cell phone's 914-403-4697. Just text me, call me, said that you saw me on here, and my wife and I will be happy to teach you more, answer your questions, and help get you connected with the product.
Okay, great. Well, I really appreciate learning more about it. I have always been very interested in my health and well-being and that of my children and my husband. So I appreciate you taking the time to talk me through ASEA and your medical experience with it. And I look forward to speaking to you about it offline.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. And I'll talk to you soon. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Foster.
Thank you, Doreen. Pleasure.
Be well.